it's meant to be, then it will, God willing. Sky's the limit, and I'm busting at the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Just counting these millions up. I need 100 to show. If you can't pay, it's enough. I would never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I done lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies.
What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion right here with your host, GRANxJEFE. Intro played a little bit longer than what I wanted it to, but that's normally how I do it on the outro anyways. Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. Give yourself another round of applause. I thank you guys for being here today. I'm your host, GRANxJEFE. I know you guys missed me. I miss you guys. I miss being back in the lab. I miss doing sports. It's been a while since I had a little personal things going on with me. Now I'm back. That's enough of that. I know I've been gone for a while. I think about 2 weeks now. Back in the fold. This week starts daily podcasting. A show 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Right here with your boy GRANxJEFE, man. Hey, listen, man. The show gonna be lit today. Anytime I'm on, you already know it's going to be lit. Not to toot my own horn. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and Twitter at GRANxJEFE, GRANJEFE. That's all one word. Also, make sure you guys are following the Unpopular Opinion podcast on Facebook at Unpopular Opinion 2018, all one word. Make sure you guys are following the Unpopular Opinion podcast on Twitter at Unpopular 2018. And also make sure you guys following the Unpopular Opinion Instagram at Unpopular_Opinion 2018. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers played the New England Patriots yesterday, last night. The Steelers won that game 17-10. If you know anything about this matchup, it really wasn't a rivalry. I know people call it a rivalry because normally what people try to do, and this is what people try to do, right? They try to always quantify you having good teams as making that seem like it's a rivalry. Just because there are two good teams that normally play each other, every year, that doesn't make it a rivalry, Most people would try to say the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers was a rivalry. But it really wasn't, right? And it still kind of isn't. It just has the best players playing the game that happen to face each other in the biggest game of the season just about every year. And that was LeBron James against Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, right? That's the rivalry. It's the LeBron rivalry with the guys. It ain't really the team because nobody really thought the Cavaliers was even on Golden State level. And even right now, any smart person know at full strength, this Lakers team, even with LeBron, got no shot at making this a rivalry against the Golden State Warriors, who is about to three-peat. That don't seem like a rivalry to me. A three-peat. 3 and 4, and then they have 3 and 4 years. That's not really a rivalry, when you're 1 and 3 against them. But people make this Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady a rivalry. Tom Brady was 11-2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 11-2. That's not a rivalry, man. He's killing them every single year. That don't quantify as a rivalry. It's just two teams that's normally good. Obviously, we know the Patriots are good. Yeah, they got all the Super Bowls. 5. Tom got 5. He's been to 7. The 2 that they lost was both against the Giants. Comeback win, or 3. Sorry. 5-3 he lost last year to Nick Foles and the Eagles. But Tom Brady is normally good. The Pittsburgh Steelers are normally good. Big Ben got his 2 Super Bowls, one in his second year, and I believe the other one came around like 2009, 2011 or something like that when they played the Arizona Cardinals. But This is not a rivalry, Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they edged it out yesterday. So let's give them a round of applause for actually doing something. Tom Brady has hit the cliff. Tom Brady, I believe, has hit the cliff. And not in the sense of he's going to be a bum, and he, I don't think that he can't play because this guy's 41 years old and still outplaying, guys that's in their 20s, so let's not get on that train as if it's like he can't play anymore, but Tom Brady is officially starting to hit the cliff. He hasn't had a good season all year. He's been a middle of the pack quarterback, all year long. He's 11th in yards per attempt. Mediocre. That's right in the middle of the pack. A little bit better than average. He's never been a really deep threat shot quarterback anyways, outside of the few seasons that he had with Randy Moss. A year he shot the record when he had 50. He hasn't really been much of a down the field threat, a down the field guy. He's 10th in touchdowns. It's about middle of the pack. He's 12th in passer rating. Everything a little bit above than average. But this is a guy that's 2 years removed from an MVP season. The year that they beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl. That was his Super Bowl year. I mean, that was his MVP year. And now it seems like he can't seem to get it going. 279 yards yesterday, touchdown and interception. Interception was just absolutely horrible. I honestly don't know why he threw that pass. Now, he said he was trying to throw it out of bounds, but that doesn't look like he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds to me. I think he said that for the media, but I don't think that he was trying to throw that ball out of bounds. You can feel however you feel about it. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't believe he was throwing that out of bounds. He also threw that ball off his back foot. The same thing I talked about Aaron Rodgers has been doing, what he was doing a few weeks ago, throwing the ball off his back foot, throwing interceptions. Tom Brady did the same thing yesterday. Now, I thought the New England Patriots would win this game. I put it this way, I picked the New England Patriots to win this game, but something just told me that the Steelers wasn't about to drop 4 in a row. At home with the Patriots coming in, although the Patriots or Tom Brady has been their kryptonite, I just didn't think that they would lose 4 in a row. But I went with the Patriots just because I kind of thought that they could squeeze it out, and they could. They only lost by 7. Tom Brady putting up 10 points. If they would have told you that the Pittsburgh Steelers scored 17, nobody would have thought, Brady would have only scored 10 points. And that one touchdown coming on the very first drive of the game on a busted coverage when 2 guys ran into each other and Chris Hogan was running by himself free. So nobody would have thought that he would have only had 3 points for the rest of that game. But it happened. This offense has really been looking shaky all year long. Really, they really haven't looked like a high level. They really haven't looked like a high level offense all year. But when you playing teams as a Pittsburgh Steelers who can score you, and they were down to their third string running back, obviously Le'Veon Bell not there, James Conner is injured. So Jalen Samuel in his second game, 19 carries for 142 yards. He's really the reason why they won this game. Timely runs, he kept them in the game. That little toss sweep play that they were running to Jalen Samuels, they need to keep that in the repertoire. Maybe when James Conner come back, maybe that'll help him out. But this kid was putting his foot in the ground, getting up the field. He wasn't playing around sideline to sideline. And I think he was one of the biggest reasons why they was able to win that game, edge that thing out 17-10. Now, what did this do for the Patriots? This really puts the Patriots in a bind. They haven't lost back-to-back December games. Get this, man, because this is amazing. And I hate Tom Brady, and I hate Bill Belichick. I hate Bill Belichick even more. But this is where you have to give those guys credit if you are any kind of sports fan. The Brady and Belichick have not lost back-to-back games in December. That's the money. That's the money month right there. You know, that's right before the playoffs start. They have not lost back-to-back December games since 2002. 16 years ago. They have not lost back-to-back December games. That's good adjustment right there. That's knowing what you did wrong the week before, and that's fixing fixing it and getting ready for the next team. 16 years. Brady and Belichick has not lost back-to-back December games since 2002. That's absolutely amazing. They will bounce back. I don't think that they are Super Bowl favorites anymore. A lot of people are still going to pick them because they are the Patriots and people know what they do, what they normally would do. Obviously, that's an anomaly right there. Having the back-to-back losses in December, that's an anomaly. Obviously, 16 years since they've done it. But I don't think this makes them the favorite anymore. I don't think that these guys are now the favorite to win. They're still going to be there because they've been there. They've done that. They know how to win. They got the rings for it. But I don't think this now puts them in that great conversation as a lot of people. I had them winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't foresee that happening anymore. But I think, they are still a team to be played with. They lost their home field advantage, so now they're going to be playing on Wild Card Week. I think that's the first time that they've done that since, I believe, 2009, that they could be playing on Wild Card Week. There's another stat for you. Since 2009, they have not played on Wild Card Week. They have at least had home field and or a first round bye. Now that's in jeopardy. Now they have to hope that the Houston Texans is not gonna continue to be the team that they've been over these last 11 games. They beat the Jets yesterday, and they've improved to 10-4. Obviously, Brady and the Patriots have dipped to 9-5, so now they don't control that third seed. The Houston Texans are now in the third seed. They now control, whether or not they get a home field or at least a home game. Obviously, no first round bye. Obviously for the Patriots now, unless the Houston Texans slip up in these next two games, which they playing the Eagles could be tough on the road at Lincoln Financial Field, and then they play the Jaguars at home. So, the Texans could very well slip up there and give the Patriots back that third seed. The Patriots playing the Bills, playing the Jets, both at home in Foxborough. So that should be 2 wins for them. While the Houston Texans are probably going to be on the road scrambling in Week 15, playing the Eagles at Lincoln Financial. Moving along, Cowboys ended their 5-game streak. I don't want to go there yet. We'll talk about the Cowboys. No, we'll go to Cowboys right now. Cowboys, the Colts ended their 5-game winning streak. Shutout on the road. First time that's happened, I believe, since 2008, 2009 for the Dallas Cowboys. The running game got going. Marlon Mack, if I'm not mistaken, he had over 140 something yards. As I play a commercial there, premature, but Marlon Mack had over 139 yards, I believe it was, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Andrew Luck didn't really have a good game. He had a mediocre game, 116 for 27, 192 yards, under 200 yards. Dak Prescott, 24, 39, 206 yards, 1 interception. I think he held on to the ball at times, some too long. Now, he did have a big drop by, I believe, his fullback on the goal line. That should have been a walk-in touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott had a mediocre game. He 18 for 87. But that I've said it time and time again. When you have to lean on Dak Prescott to get you to the promised land, he's not that guy. You know, when Ezekiel Elliott is not getting 100 plus yard games, you know, Dak Prescott is a normal quarterback. That defense just got ran over yesterday. Sean Lee did return, only played limited minutes. But the Cowboys just made things really interesting in that NFC East division. Now only one game above the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. Now all they would have to do is win one more game, obviously, and go to 8-8. If both, go to 9-6, or 9 if they finish the season 9-7. They own the tiebreaker, obviously, because they have the best record in the division, or they would be tied for division record, or overall record. Sorry, but they have a better division and a better conference record. Dallas Cowboys are 7-3 in conference, which is the second criteria for winning your division, or winning your division. It first goes by overall record. So if all three teams end up at 9-7, then they will go to the conference record. The Dallas Cowboys are 7-3. The Philadelphia Eagles is 5-6, and the Cowboys are 6-5. And then after that, they will go to division record, and the Dallas Cowboys are winning that as well at 4-1. With neither of those teams have to play each other again, but the Dallas Cowboys do have the New York Giants, so they can increase that division record lead. I still think the Cowboys get in because, like I said, right now it'll have to take a minor miracle for the Cowboys, the Eagles or the Redskins to either get in. The Cowboys will literally have to slip both of these games, these next two games. I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening. I don't see the Cowboys faltering down this far down the stretch. The Cowboys will do some Cowboy-like things, but they have the Buccaneers in Week 15 at Jerry World. That should be an easy game with Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being so up and down. That should be a win. And then they got the New York Giants. That's going to be a tough game in the Meadowlands in Week 16 or Week 17. I shall say, obviously, with each team getting one bye week. Week 17, Cowboys and Giants. If the Cowboys lose this next game, it could get really tough trying to go face the Giants in Week 17 to keep your playoff hopes alive. Not saying that they will lose, just saying we just seen what the Giants did to the Redskins last week, put up 41 without Odell. So, and that's a really good defense there. Moving along here. On the docket, staying in the NFL, obviously. Eagles beat the Rams last night. In true Eagles fashion, I shall say. Last year, we all know Carson Wentz, MVP candidate, tears ACL late in the season. Nick Foles come in the last 3 games of the year. He does his thing. He makes it through the playoffs. You know, he dueled Brady out in the Super Bowl. He wins it, Super Bowl MVP. This year, Carson Wentz out again. Nick Foles, with the playoffs in sight, goes and beats the Rams. Now, I've stated they're going to need some help. They are going to need some help. The Eagles are, although they're in second place right now. They're going to need some help for the Cowboys. Right now, they are, as I mentioned, 7-7, sitting 1 game behind the Dallas Cowboys, sitting tied right now with the Redskins. But the Redskins and the Eagles situation is going to be settled because they play each other in Week 17, so we don't really have to worry about that. Next week on the docket, as I mentioned for the Houston Texans a few minutes ago, they play the Philadelphia Eagles. And they play the Philadelphia Eagles at home. It's going to be a tough game for the Texans, who's trying to fight for third place with the New England Patriots, who is going to play the Bills at home next week. They win this game, they could improve to 8-8. Let's just say the Cowboys lose to the dang it, I just forgot just that quick. The Cowboys are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week. Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's say the Cowboys lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they go to 7-8. The Philadelphia Eagles win. They go to 8-7. That's going to make that Giants game even more impactful, especially being that the Eagles got the Redskins. Listen, this NFC race could go down to the bitter end. But back to the Eagles in the Rams game. Eagles won 30-23. Foles went 24 of 31. He did have 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jared Goff. Let's just talk about this real quick. Jared Goff, 339 yards, 2 interceptions. And one of those interceptions, it was just so bad. Like, and get this, quarterbacks are the only guys on the football field that does this, really. Running backs get stopped for a loss. They just eat their loss. Maybe they try to fight for some more yards, but who wouldn't? But they just let it go, right? Let me tell you what receivers, they just take their losses. Quarterbacks, these guys will try to get rid of the ball. Doesn't matter whether they're in traffic or not. They will get rid of the football and turn the ball over every single time. Like, don't you guys know? Just eat it. You have to eat that. You have to eat it. You got to eat it. And what's up with Sean McVay, not giving the ball to Todd Gurley, the MVP, the guy that got 17 touchdowns on the year? That guy. Yeah, he got 2 more touchdowns yesterday, but Todd Gurley had 12 carries for 48 yards yesterday with the 2 touchdowns. The week prior, he had 11 carries for 28 yards. So you're telling me in 2 weeks, all Todd Gurley got, your MVP running back, who's probably just lost the MVP. Not that he's worried about it, just saying from a fan perspective, and now from an analyst perspective, he's only had 23 carries in the last 2 weeks. 23. You're supposed to be giving him 23 a game. 17, 18, 19 a game. At least. But he's only had 23 carries in the last 2 games. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. It's just not. And you're trying to feature Jared Goff, which I don't really understand why. Yeah, if you let Jared Goff sit back there, I don't think he's a guy. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a guy that you're going to let sling the ball 30, 40 times a game unless he just got it going. When you got 30 in the backfield. He feeds off Todd Gurley. He's able to make the plays that he's making because of Todd Gurley. A lot of play action stuff. A lot of crossing routes and all that other stuff. Let Todd Gurley be your bell cow. Let him be the guy that you gave $30-something million guaranteed to, if I'm not mistaken. I just did a show on that, I believe last month when I was talking about him and Le'Veon Bell. You gave him all that money, and now you done lost the 1 seed. Coming up later on the show, we obviously going to talk about the Monday night matchup between the Saints and the Panthers. Now the Saints are in prime position to, take first place. They already own the tiebreaker over you anyway. So if you guys both finish with the same record, they're going to own the tiebreaker. As far as head-to-head goes. But I don't know what's going on with the Rams, man. That's 2 weeks in a row. Jared Goff is throwing like six interceptions in these last 2 weeks. And only, I believe, 1 or 2 touchdowns. He had none yesterday. So Sean McVay is going to have to get these boys back on the right track, or else, man, it can be a long night for them. Moving on, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens etched another notch in the victory column which helped them because, the Steelers helped themselves by winning yesterday. The Steelers, that was a big time win for the Steelers over the Patriots. Because you're talking about instead of being 8-5, they're 7-6. And now the Baltimore Ravens are 8-6 leading that division. Oh man, that's tough. You also go to 7-6, and you got the Cleveland Browns that won on Saturday, and they improved to 6-7. So it would have got really, really dicey if if Baltimore and Pittsburgh had lost. Baltimore would have been at 7-7. Pittsburgh would have been at 7-6. That division would have got a lot more interesting. But both teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, won. Good job on their part. I think both teams needed this. Buccaneers only put up 12 points. Jameis Winston, awful day. Lamar Jackson, man, listen. Another game where people are going to overreact to having Lamar Jackson in there, and they win in another game. I believe this is 4 of their last 5 that they won, with the only loss coming to the Kansas City Chiefs last week. If people are going to overreact to this, there's already reports coming out right now saying that the Baltimore Ravens are going to part ways with Joe Flacco. And that's the biggest mistake. The Baltimore Ravens, mark my words, December 17th, 2018, the Baltimore Ravens will be looking for a quarterback in 2 years. They will be in the market for a quarterback in 2 years. They won't be able to overcome Lamar Jackson. I'm telling you right now. Lamar Jackson, listen, this guy went 13. And to his credit, yesterday, a lot of that stuff didn't look like design runs. It just looked like he was trying to throw the ball, and that's when he's at his best, when he can scramble. Not really design runs. He's at his best when he can scramble, when he can survey the field. And it looks like, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing a lot of man-to-man coverage, which you cannot do against Lamar Jackson, because if you're in man-to-man coverage, that means everybody got their back to him. You got to at least spy him. You got to at least do something. But he went 13-19, 150 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns against the Bengals in a win, with 26 carries, 119 yards. Next game, he went 14-25, 178, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 11 carries, 71 yards, 1 touchdown against the Raiders. 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 rushing, 2 interceptions in a win. Next game, he went 12-21, 125, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 17 carries, 75 yards, 1 touchdown in a win over the Falcons. Next game, Chiefs, 13 for 24, 147, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 14 carries, 67 yards, no touchdowns. And the L against the Chiefs. Yesterday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he went 14-23, 131, 1 touchdown, 18 carries, 95 yards in the win. He cannot keep this up. He cannot keep this up running the football, because once teams know that you're the guy, they're going to know how to plan for you. Ask Colin Kaepernick. He had to learn how to be a better passer. Michael Vick, as fast as he was, he had to learn to be a better passer. In 5 games where they won 4 out of 5 in a passing league where all the rules are for the offense, he has only 735 yards in 5 games, passing, 427 yards rushing. He's not going to be able to sustain this. It's just not going to happen. Mark my words. On December 17th, 2018, Billy Haddon, GRANxJEFE, said the Baltimore Ravens will be in the quarterback market looking for a quarterback in 2 years. Moving on to the final topic of today's show, we got the Monday Night Football game tonight against the Saints and the Panthers, as all my laptop and my computer falls down. Sorry about that. It feels a loud bang right there. But we got the New Orleans Saints against the Panthers. The New Orleans Saints know what's at stake right now. They know that the Los Angeles Rams have now lost 3 games. They know with this win right here, they can move into first place in that NFC division and prime position to take home field throughout the playoffs. Right now, they can go to 12-2. The Rams are already at 11-3. So now the Rams, it's even more pressure on the Rams now to win these next 2 games because they have Chicago sitting right there at 10-4, only 1 game behind them. The Los Angeles Rams could slip up and had first place wrapped up this whole entire time and wait to the last moment and lose it. They are playing the Arizona Cardinals on the road and the 49ers at home. So division game, who knows what can happen there. But the Saints know what's at stake right now. They know all they got to do is keep winning. They control their own destiny. It doesn't matter what anybody else do. They win, they in. Drew Brees coming in with 31 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions on the year. Absolutely amazing. Alvin Kamara, 11 touchdowns on the year rushing. Michael Thomas, 8 touchdowns, over 1,200 yards. You know, Mark Ingram, also that to mention that 2-headed monster in the backfield of Ingram and Kamara. And Cam Newton, that has kind of taken a step back, still on pace for a record season as far as his highest completion percentage. He's sitting right now at 69%, 68.8. It just seemed like to me that offense is give the ball to 22 and let 22 do what 22 do. That's what it seems like to me. You know, it don't seem like there's anybody else making plays. And Cam Newton and 22, McCaffrey, is doing it all by themselves. They fired their defensive coordinator a few weeks back. You know, they come in this game losing their last 4. What are they? So I like the New Orleans Saints to win this game tonight and to move into first place in that NFC division. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Remember, we will have daily shows this week coming up. Daily shows Monday through Friday, as you guys might have known that I was doing, you know, Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday show, starting to crank up. Basketball season's in full go, NCAA's in full go. So we're going to be getting a little bit of basketball in there now for all my basketball fans. I just want to say just a round of applause again. You know, I thank you guys for all the love and support that you show me. Make sure you guys tune into the RTL Sports Talk podcast. Also, I'll be on there tomorrow as well. 7:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate all the love and support, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
If it's meant to be, then it will, God willing. Sky's the limit, and I'm busting out the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Just counting these millions, I need 100 a show. If you can't pay, it's a no. I will never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I done lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies. I don't have time for the fake. Who would've knew? Praying to God, asking what do I do? I've been the truth since I came out the womb. Keep it 100, got nothing to lose, got nothing to fear. Let it be clear, God got my back when nobody